because I hate that. But my son had a game tonight, so I had to check to see if he scored or if they won. So they won tonight too, so it's a good night in the Dambrot household.
Did he score?
No, he didn't score. He's an outside back, so it's a little hard to score sometimes.
Nathan Solomon with Tappan, a great Orleans coach. I know I don't need to tell you this, but you haven't always had a lot of success against St. Bonaventure. But now you've won 4 games in a row. You sweep the season series, and it feels like these games against St. Bonaventure are all, kind of what you mentioned, rock fight, grind it out type of games. So why do you feel like you've thrived in that these last couple of times against St. Bonaventure?
First off, you had to remind me of that, huh? Finally, we beat them, and you had to remind me of all the disappointments that I've had. So, we're just built that way this year. We have a very tough group. We've been through a lot. A lot of people quit on us. Obviously, when you start 0-5 and you have fairly high expectations, all the bandwagon jumpers kind of get out. And so our guys kind of just rallied around each other, and our toughness level really improved when DeMichael plays, started to play. I think that's one. And, I think it's funny how one guy can affect another guy that can affect another guy. Pretty soon, if you're not tough, you're kind of the odd man out. And I think that's really what happened with our group.
Coach, Bonaventure cut it to 5, but then you guys came back, hit a timely 3, and then just finished with a 10-point victory. Could you talk about the comfortability that your team is playing with and the trust that you guys have in each other over these past 3 games?
Well, again, we've done that on numerous occasions this year where people have come back on us, and we lost some games early in the year where people came back on us. But look at when you get Jimmy Carp going 6 assists and no turnovers, and Day 3 assists and no turnovers, you have a relatively good chance of winning. So because those guys, when they take care of the ball and move the ball, we're a really good team because we're gonna grind out at the defensive end.
Keith, I know one of the reasons you took this job originally was to honor your dad, to make your first championship in your time at Duquesne. What does this all mean to you?
Well, we have to finish the job first. But I'll tell you the story, and I kind of think it's very similar to our team. My dad, he started most every game his junior year, and his senior year they left him behind on 3 trips and didn't take him. So he overcame some adversity, and ended up at the end of the year in the NIT and all the NIT finals, which was the big tournament back then. He started every game. So the point of why I'm telling you this is it's very similar to the adversity that we fought. Where we weren't very good at times early in the year, and it made him a better player, and it also taught me, that you don't give up, you just keep fighting.
Keith, to hold them to 6 for 24 from 3, what do you credit that to with your 3-point defense today?
Well, if you look at our statistics early in the year from the 3 line versus how we've done in the conference, we've done much better. And again, we're kind of built outside in, which is a little different than most people. We're not a gap team. We're a pretty hard pressure team in the half court, which means, you give up a few more drives and a few less threes. And then we have good versatility defensively. When you play guys like Jakob and Jake DeMichael, you can kind of switch out on them a little bit more than you can when you're a little bit smaller. And so I think that's one thing. I think the other thing is we played him so many times, and this guy's got a playbook that's humongous, right? But we know his main ones. So we played him so much that we've been able to at least understand what he's going to try to do. For instance, if a guy makes a 3, he usually goes right back to him. He's just a good coach. And so I think familiarity helped us a little bit prepping for this game, whereas tomorrow it's a little less familiar because Coach Odom's only been in the league 1 year. And then we played him without Shulga, so I'm sure they're going to run some different stuff against us. So that's the only thing I can attribute it to. I think we're kind of built that way, though. We're going to guard at the 3 line.
Coach David Korn from A-10 Talk. I was wondering, I noticed you reacted a little bit when Jimmy Clark was asked about his sort of history with VCU. Do you think that'll be something that your team will sort of be able to rally around, or do you think that'll be a factor heading into tomorrow?
I don't think necessarily VCU so much. You know, when we recruited Jimmy, one of the reasons we hit it off so much is we both had redemption. You know, we were both looking for redemption. I had an issue in my career, and Jimmy had an issue in his career. And you know, you only have choices at that point. Either you keep fighting or you put the white flag up. And I think for Jimmy, the whole thing is a whole redemption thing. That's why he came back into the Atlantic 10, because he wanted to show people, one, that he was a good player, but most importantly, that he's a good person. And I can tell you, I've coached a lot of different kind of guys. Jimmy Clark is a really good person. We have to understand young people at times make some mistakes, and old people do too, me included. So I think that's kind of why we've hit it off so well, and I think he'll play like it's the last game he ever played tomorrow.
Okay, we'll go with 2 more questions for Coach, okay? Thank you.
Coach, how did your post players do in the absence of Trey Williams, and how much did it mean to you to see the fans chant his name towards the end of your win today?
So I don't really hear much, so I didn't even know that. I'm glad you told me that. We group efforted it. You know, you have to mention Jakub Nechas because, you know, he's a young guy, but we played him at the 5 the last 2 games at times, and he battled in there. He gives you a little different look, but, you know, we played Chabi, we played Dave Dixon, we played Dushan, you know, so we went pretty deep there. You know, those guys are strong as oxes, both of them. Noel, Brown, and Venning, and they wear you out. Like, you could tell that Dave was completely worn out and had trouble offensively because he's battling so hard defensively. And so, you know, we had to go deep. And I think that's the good thing about our team is we have a variety of different guys that on a certain night can help us.
Anybody else? Okay, Coach, thank you.
Appreciate it.